In the studio this morning, I want to welcome candidate for Hanford City Council District D, Shelley Barker.
Hi.
How are you?
So good. Good to see you.
Nice to have you here. And you know what? I actually made sure the microphone was on because for the other candidates that were here, I always messed up. I didn't turn on the microphone.
Really?
On accident. On accident. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So I was reading in the Hanford Sentinel. They did a profile of all the candidates, and
Right.
I noticed that you're very excited
Yes.
about running
Yes.
for District D. First off, tell me what got you motivated.
Well, I've been involved in the community for 30 years that I've been here, whether it be youth sports or, youth counseling, anywhere, actually. I've been pretty much in every arena, including on the grand jury. So I figured, what else is there to do as far as community service? And city council is probably the highest form of community service that you can be a part of.
Now, one of the things that I feel like a lot of people say is, I can't get involved in city council meetings, just general public. You know what I mean? They say, I go there, but I can't, nobody really listens to me. Is that a big problem?
Yes, I hear that so often, and I'm constantly telling people, your voice does matter. It does matter. And unfortunately, I do kind of see where they're coming from. Where there's not an immediate response after someone goes up and speaks, and I understand they have to give time for that. I just wish that maybe there's a little more heart in it, because this isn't the presidency. This is a small town Hanford. We need conversations as not looking at them as, oh gosh, I'm scared, they're intimidating, but someone that's relatable and someone that will really genuinely listen and have a response, or you know what, how about come meet with me?
I agree.
And we can talk further about your issue, because it's important to me too. That needs to happen.
No, I absolutely agree, and I think that's a great thing that you actually brought up here this morning. Now, obviously, this election was not your usual election. I mean, this was, the general election is going to happen in November. This is a recall election of a councilman currently serving right now. Tell me your first reaction to the recall election, your thoughts on that, and then obviously now that you're running, do you see where that recall election is actually valid?
I didn't really think that it was going to happen, only because his remaining term is so short.
And they got the number of signatures, right?
They did. Yeah. They did. And that's astounding, and it should speak volumes. When you have 1,000 people, that should speak volumes, because that's exactly where I stand on the whole issue. The people need to have a voice, just as I was saying earlier, and that should speak volumes as to what the voters want, and that's what I'm about. Was I shocked because there's such short time left? Yes, I was. But the people have really spoken about this. So.
And it's similar to what other candidates have said that have been on the show as well, that they don't necessarily, they can't really prove maybe some of the allegations that are going on, but they're listening to the people. And
right.
if there were signatures out there that were able to come together and say, hey, we're going to start this recall election, you got to go with what the people are saying.
You do. If you don't, then you're not doing due diligence to the city. You're just not. It's as simple as that.
No, I absolutely agree. So moving on, now the election's here. It's going to be happening on Tuesday, right?
Yes.
What should our listeners and viewers know about Shelley Barker that they do not know?
I'm a pretty open book. Like I tell people that are close to me, downtown is very special, because it's the reason I moved here. So downtown means a lot, which happens to be in my district. Also, I've lived on the east side for 25 years. I've seen everything in the last 25 years. We've become a brother to the south side. When we hear things like there's new development on the east side, they're not talking about the east side. They're talking about Costco, which is way beyond really the east side if you're talking about residencies. You know, I've lived next door to my neighbors, you know, who've outright owned their homes already, and you know, everyone's been dissatisfied over there. There's a lot of crime happening. You know,
where do you think that disconnect is? Is it because they don't have a voice, you feel, or someone to actually have their voice and have their back in the city council meetings?
Yes, years ago, I would say almost probably around 15 years ago, I complained at that time because I had small children, and there wasn't enough lighting in that area, you know, so it was getting difficult to let my kids wander around past a certain hour in good lighting. And I wasn't listened to. You know, it's those little things that, you know, should have been taken seriously. This is the safety of our children. We need to be protecting them. Also, on the south side, I've done so much volunteer work at the Longfield Center. And so I'm real familiar with that. Now, what sets me aside, I think, is that I've worked at the ground level in so many areas that I have so much to bring at the ground level. You can look at numbers, you can look at budgets, you can look at statistics, you can look at whatever you want all day long, but unless you've spent day in and day out, you really do not know the issues that are happening in these areas. I do. And this is some insight that I can bring and say, no, you know what, you can look at those numbers, but that's not really what's going on. What's really going on is A, B, and C, because I've been there. And I think the biggest thing for me is communication. There needs to be more communication between the people who have invested here, the people who are raising children here, and just listen, and because they're our bread and butter, they're going to move. And this town will be a ghost town if we don't.
No, you're right.
You know, I mean, it may not happen tomorrow, I mean, obviously, but down the road. And I think everyone that I've spoken to loves Hanford so much. They are in love with this place. They just can't see it be dwindled away by our elected officials. And I want to help bring that back, and maybe it'll catch on. I'm hoping it'll catch on. I'm kind of a strong personality, so you know, I can get in there and say, listen, you guys don't know. You didn't volunteer at this place. You don't really know what's happening inside.
So the election's happening on Tuesday. What are your plans for Tuesday?
Just a small gathering with some, you know, of course, my adult kids and some close friends, a couple business owners, and just sit and watch and. You know,
see how it turns out.
Yeah, you know, win or lose, I love everyone. You know, we at the end of the day.
When you say you love everyone, are you talking about the candidates that are all running?
Well, yeah,
okay.
and then some.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, I mean, I'm not a hateful person. Whoever wins, I want to be that first phone call and say, listen, how can I help you?
Gotcha.
Because I know, you know, A, B, and C. So if you need help in this area, I'm here to help. Because we all have to live here still.
Of course.
You know, I mean, this isn't San Francisco where we can all just separate. It's a small town, and you know, we have to be able to work together. There's no room for ugliness and bitterness and hard feelings. We all have to put on our big girl and boy pants and say, hey, you know what? Let's work together. Because you might know this area, I know this one.
Yeah.
Let's work together.
Yeah.
And so, you know, win or lose, I'm going to be okay. I still have my career and stuff.
And I love that mentality, win or lose. I mean, you're not coming in here saying, when I win, this is what I'm going to do. No, win or lose, I'm still going to be involved. And that's what I like about your whole, you know, mentality towards this election. Because, yes, you want to help as much as you can. So if you can get elected, even better.
Right.
Because you're inside. You're
right
there. But if you're not elected, you still want to help.
Yes. You know, I mean, advocacy has been a big part of my life. I've advocated for schools. I'm part of SART team, which, I don't know if you're familiar with the SART team.
No, I'm not. What is that?
Sexual assault response team.
Oh, wow. Okay.
With KCAO, suicide prevention and crisis hotline.
Beautiful.
You know, things like that. So I'm really involved in a lot of different arenas, so I can be a valuable tool to anyone that wins. And so far, I have great relationships with all of the candidates, as well as the current sitting city council. We've all had great conversations, so I'll be able to work in a cohesive way with the current council members, as well as whoever takes the seat, because if we can't find anything in common, we have one thing in common, and is that we all love Hanford.
There you go. There you go.
And that's a starting point.
No, that is a starting point, and I think it's a great way to end our interview here this morning.
Good.
Shelley Barker, thank you so much. Wish you the best of luck, okay?
Thank you so much.
And once again, Shelley is running for District D for the Hanford City Council. The election takes place on Tuesday,
Yes.
January 23rd. Where do we go to vote? How does that work? Do you know? Did they give information? I know Francisco mentioned some churches were doing something.
Yes. No
information yet.
No. Well, see, I've been in my house for 25 years, so I do absentee.
Gotcha.
I'm not really sure,
Okay.
but I'm sure that if you go on the Kings County website.
Yeah, I'm going to find out more information too, because Monday I'll be providing those details to my listeners and viewers.
Oh,
as well.
good,
So
good. Yeah.
We'll try to get everybody as informative as possible. If you want to vote, you can go vote. So.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
good.
Shelley, again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Have a great
Jerry.
morning, and
You
ladies and
too.
gentlemen, Eggs, Bacon, and Joey will be back with more. Stay with us.
Bye.